Hello my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about the first book in the Rise of Empire bind-up, and it is called Nyphron Rising. So it seems quite a bit has gone on since the last book. I believe it's been at least a year, 6 months to a year. Sometimes it's hard to tell the time jumps between these things. Oh, and just realized my glasses are going to be doing another glare thing, so I'm just going to take those off. So, quite a few things have happened. I'm not going to go into too much detail because spoilers. I will say that, I really enjoyed this book. I love how we're learning more and more. We're getting more of Royce and Hadrian's, backstories, and just, it's awesome. Like I believe I said before, I have not read the prequels yet. I didn't know there were prequels until I finished the first bind-up, and by that point I'm just like, I'm just going to continue with these bind-ups. And then go and read the prequels after. Things are getting a little more intense, and it's just awesome, and I'm loving it. It's really hard to express why I love this book without going into potential spoilers. So, other than saying I absolutely loved it, I still love Royce and Hadrian, and I still want to give Royce a hug, despite the fact that he would probably literally stab me in the back. I really wanted to give Hadrian a hug throughout this whole book, just because of the mood he was in. Just poor Hadrian. So yeah, other than saying I really love this book, there's not much more I can say, so I'm going to go into a more spoilery bit. So if you have not completed the first bind-up, or this story, I suggest you click away now and come back after you catch up. Trust me, it's worth it. It's awesome. If you haven't even started this series yet, I really highly recommend you pick up and start, because holy crap, it is awesome. So yeah, spoilery time. So in the last book, the church kind of found their puppet heir in Thrace, and they're using Thrace now as the fake heir of Nyphron to unite this continent. Really, they want to unite all the countries, kingdoms, whatever you want to call them, and have them be led by one ruler instead of having each of them ruled by a king. And as a refresher, the people who are for this idea are the imperialists. There's some places that aren't quite too thrilled by this, like Alaric and his kingdom. And, refresher, Alaric is a royalist. They think that each little kingdom, country, place should be ruled by their own ruler. So, the church has been planning this for years, so quite a few countries, happily join under one banner easily. Meanwhile, some countries, like Alaric's, are putting up some resistance. So there's kind of a war going on between Alaric's kingdom and the church. We still are getting plenty of points of view. Arista, who I am loving her development right now. I really looked forward to her chapters because I feel we are seeing quite a bit of growth from her, and I am respecting her a lot more than I did in the first book, which is saying something because, I did enjoy her character from the get-go, but now I am really enjoying it. We also got a few more new points of view. We get some of Thrace's point of view, which, the church kind of renamed her as Mondina, I think it's pronounced. And we get Amelia, who is a servant at the Big Honcho Castle where Thrace is, and through a stroke of luck and good timing and just pure happenstance, Amelia has become Thrace's, secretary. She was a servant. A servant in the kitchens, and, by this chain of events, she becomes Thrace's secretary, and Amelia's trying to make her more presentable for the public, because Thrace is in this, catatonic state, almost. Thrace is just more or less a shell of who she was in the last book because of all the stuff that happened in her village and to her dad, and it's really sad. So Amelia is trying to remedy this, even though she doesn't know the reasons. And then, we still get Hadrian and Royce, of course, who are being kept quite busy by Alaric and are making quite a bit of money because wartime. And Royce is just, thrilled at this. Yeah, we're getting jobs, we're getting money, yeah. Meanwhile, Hadrian isn't quite as thrilled. He is kind of in a somewhat state of a depression. He doesn't want to keep doing these jobs anymore. He feels dirty from it. He feels he's meant for something better, a higher purpose. And he's just getting really down about all this. And it made me want to hug him so bad. Meanwhile, Royce is keeping something from Hadrian. And we do find out what that is later. And, back in the last book, Ezra needed Arista and Royce to kind of help him find out who the true heir of Norman is, and the guardian that is supposed to be protecting him. Apparently, one of those people is Hadrian. Pretty safe to assume that he is the guardian. But Royce doesn't tell Hadrian this because he's afraid that Hadrian being Hadrian, he'll rush off to try and find the heir, and Royce is afraid that Ezra somehow manipulated the vision they saw for his own means for some reason or another. Royce doesn't know why he would do this, but, the thought is still in his head, and he doesn't want to risk it, so he keeps this all hush-hush from Hadrian. But, of course, he can't keep it secret too long. He does tell Hadrian eventually in this book, and he's not too thrilled. Yeah, there's quite a bit of traveling. Royce and Hadrian are bringing Arista to meet with the nationalist leader to try and, get them as allies, because they feel if they get the nationalists to help out, then maybe they would have a better chance at winning this war with the church. And, things can't go simply. There is a lot of stuff that goes down on the way. First, they go to Hadrian's hometown, because Royce wants to try and find out a little bit about Hadrian's father, find out maybe if some bits of this idea that Hadrian is the guardian has some truth to it. And, it turns out it's true. Hadrian's father guarded the heir before, and apparently he didn't do too good a job, because the heir got killed. Supposedly. We find out that Hadrian's father and the heir were going to the city of Ratibor, which is where Royce grew up. Fun little fact. They were traveling with the heir's pregnant wife, and, she was in labor, and the church managed to find them, and while the poor wife was giving birth, the husband, the heir, and the guardian were trying to fight, and just things went totally downhill. So, the heir is dead, the line is dead, all hope is gone, in a fit of grief, Hadrian's father goes off to a little town, takes up a new name, and lives his life. He has Hadrian, and for some reason or another decides to teach him, the fighting styles that were passed on through the Guardians before him, which is why Hadrian is such an awesome fighter, and just all this stuff that we learn, just craziness. This huge little battle in Ratibor, which, Arista helps plan. She is a very clever lady. I have huge respect for her character now, oh my god. The preparations and just all the stuff that goes on beforehand was just... I was flipping pages like crazy reading. It was intense. It was really intense. And, it's kind of revealed that the heir is supposedly this guy named Deacon Grant, I don't know. And, surprise, surprise, he's the leader of the nationalist movement. So, apparently the wife of the heir was going to have a set of twins. The first child was killed in the mother's arms, but the midwife who was delivering the children, she sees, oh crap, another baby is on the way. So she delivers the second baby and manages to save it, and kind of adopts it as her own. And that child apparently was Deacon. So Hadrian finds this out, and he's just like, I must find Deacon Grant and protect him. But, I'm putting my money on someone else being the heir, just based on one final little interaction between two characters at the end. Apparently, something is still being hidden from Royce and Hadrian, and my money is actually it being on Royce being the heir. Because, come on, think about it. He has to have a bigger part in all this. I feel frankly, once I found out Hadrian was the Guardian, instantly popped in my head thinking, Royce is gonna be the heir. And you know, despite the coincidence that the heir was born and supposedly grew up in Radivor, where Royce is from, that's just where my money is on right now. Royce is gonna be the heir. And before I close up here, I think Arista is gonna be one badass lady in the coming books now that she's getting a better hold of magic. She's gonna be a huge force to reckon with once she learns more and gets more control over what she can do. Like, I have a feeling you're gonna need armies when you have her in the future, because she's just gonna be a one-person army and be fabulous. Either that or she's gonna make one really intense, awesome, like, leader. So yeah, that's it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts. Keep on reading.